big neighbor and chippy. Chippy neighbor. Ew, just cleaning up with fire. Just cleaning up a 3D print. That's all. Get this ready for coating. This is fun. Who says you can't have fun with your hobbies? Ooh, a little bit of fire going there. Ha! Nice. Yeah, stuff really isn't flammable, but the finer stuff is. Little thin, little spider webby, stringy versions. Well, you might be able to see. I'm trying not to burn this at the same time. That's the trick. Not to melt the plastic, you just print it. With any prints, the less post-processing you do, the better the job is. Your time is valuable, and you don't want to be spending a ton of time to achieve the same results. Being more efficient with crap, basically. Anything with flame, you don't leave it in one spot too long, because then you're definitely melting things, and this has to be clearly flat. You got most of the, I got all the thin, most of the thin hairy stuff. A couple of little spots here or there. Pretty much just like doing spider webs. Now, how about this? I'm gonna pick up on camera. Okay, you can see the white fluff there.
Now, how about this? I'm going to pick up on camera. Okay, you can see the white fluff there.
Okay, you can see the white fluff there. on. I get to play with fire on TV. This is like 12-year-old me's best dream, I suppose. As long as I'm not burning down the place, I'm doing good. Once it's nice and clean, then I get to go and coat this with a food grade epoxy coating. There goes one day. Hey. Little wispy hairs is common enough. It's when the material gets too damp, they get really, really stringy stuff like this. If the material is too damp, I mean, the prints turn out fine, but you gotta clear off all this crap. Oh, I want to be blessed by gore. So yeah, this is on my rubber material, the TPU stuff. But yeah, so clean this up, spending much time. When it's done right, you don't have to do any of this. So it's all 3D printing. This particular piece is actually for those vintage TV trays, the ones with the legs that fold under and the top folds down, so the legs are here. And you open the leg and it clips down. This is the clip that goes onto the leg. Well, those things are vintage. No one makes replacement ones. So someone once asked me, can I do that? Sure, I printed them. And it's like, hey, what if other people like it? It's like my third most popular thing that I sell on Etsy. And I list on my other store too, but my other store is mostly geared towards automotive, Honda Elements, than vintage TV trays. But it's fun, and people like it, and you can't get them anymore, right? They're made out of the original ones are made of a type of plastic. You simply cannot buy them, and what are you going to do? Throw out a whole decent tray just because you can't get a clip? And that's what generally happens. So we're too much of a throwaway society. 3D printing can certainly curb that by a lot by restoring old one. One lady bought a whole set of 16 of these, and she recoated the tray. It was a metal tray, and she did a powder coating on them, and it was a gift for her mother. It was like her mother's original set, and she revived some good life into them, which is really kind of cool. And if I can help, keep things going, make things more reusable, repurposable. I mean, throwing out a whole thing and just go buy brand new ones when there's like one part or a couple of parts missing or unable, which is kind of silly. And I get no one, they're not new, and the original manufacturer is long out of date, long closed. Where else are you going to get them? But people like them, people are having them, shipping them all over the world, mostly down the States. But it's half the fun. This one is actually part of these. So there's two pieces here, and it's a pierogi maker. This one has a shape to kind of, I don't know how well, cut out the pierogi material. So I'll be kind of really curious to see once this is done and see how well it works. When it lines up, So that's a kind of a cool project. So mostly cleaning this guy up so I can get it ready to be coated, and that it's perfectly clean. So it takes a little bit of time. Get all the tiny little hairs off there. So I want this to be as smooth as possible. Print just finished yesterday. And of course you don't want any of this stuff. I mean, this is technically it's food safe already. The problem is like the material won't leach into the food, the dye. This is PETG. It's the same material as your water bottles are in, or your drink bottles. The problem becomes is not the material, but the keeping it clean. Let's see, we've got a good. Well, this will again. If you look at the lighting, you see all this fine ridges. I mean, that's just natural part of 3D printing, but that's where the bacteria will sit in there and grow. So if this is not cleaned carefully, you'll get bacteria on it, and that was what gets into the food. So I've got some resin that I'm going to be food grade resin that can coat this, and you won't, it will smooth out all those surfaces, so you won't get any growth on there. Because when you wash it, you can wash a nice flat surface like your regular cups or plates. So this is just cleaning it up so that when I coat it, it's nice and smooth. And when they, make the pierogies, that's a clean cut. This is the tedious part. Sometimes I don't mind tedious things, but other times it's just like, it's boring. Just kind of depends on the type of person you are. I think a lot of ADD, ADHD type people can focus on really menial tasks really well. So probably good for something like that, and maybe I have some sort of bend towards that way mentally. Like, my mom used to always wear a bunch of necklaces, but they'd always get all tangled up. Or even my ex would do the same. And I would untangle them. I would just sit there, just untangle them. Just take my time, patience, I can figure it out. This one doesn't need to be sanded, it just needs to be cleaned. So this smooth surface, so when when the epoxy goes on it. Yeah, this is kind of fun. And we all want to press a button and have the ultimate product done, like the Star Trek replicators. At some point in our life, we might get those. I don't know if it'll be our particular lifetime, but it'll happen. Because they can manipulate matter on very small scales. So it's just a matter of time and technology where that stuff can be done. Anyone watched the TV show Three Body? I think the North American version was called the Three Body Problem, but the Chinese version is just called Three Body. So I watched that with subs. They had some pretty neat sci-fi stuff in it. Later on, I found it took a while for the show to actually get going and get really interesting. There was a lot of jumping around and how people suddenly knew information, but it wasn't just explained anywhere else, how that they would know this stuff. I mean, pretty neat. And their season 1 was like 30 episodes, so it's a long haul, and took a while to get up to it. It was almost interesting ideas going through it, and it took me, for me personally, it took me almost up to episode 20 to finally start seeing some progress in the storyline that was interesting enough. So overall, it was interesting, but it just took a while for it to actually start moving around before you start really getting into the sci-fi stuff. It is interesting to get into some, not virtual reality. Yeah, virtual reality. There's like a game involved in the whole story, but it's more of a, I would say, a historical record that you kind of play out so you can see the history of something in it, which I thought was, again, interesting, more the techie side of stuff. But I will say this, their novel use of nanomaterial to solve a problem, I don't want to give away any spoilers, that was kind of cool. I'd never seen anything like that in any other show. So that was totally unique. And that part alone was worth it, just to watch and get to that point. But that doesn't happen until episode 29. But it is worth the wait, just to see it actually come to fruition and how they use this particular technology that was evolved in there. I'm gonna say it's evolved nanomaterials, and it is just, yeah, something I've never seen anywhere else. But I was looking forward when I saw them setting up this scene and what they're all planning. I'm going, oh, I can't wait to see the special effects on this. It was good, and it was worth it. Most of the special effects, like their VR thing, it's like a relatively low-res game. I mean, not even quite up to current standards, just a little bit below, which was fine because it wasn't that wasn't the point. The point was to get the content across, and the game didn't have to be high resolution. So that was that was really kind of cool to see. Nice use, but weird use. But there's definitely some neat concepts on. So I'd like to see more of that type of stuff because the storylines are kind of cool. Mainstream media is kind of getting boring. No, won't even bother going into the whole everything's woke now because that's just kind of ruining things. But these are getting pretty smooth. I think a little bit of rough stuff. Yeah, definitely very monotonous work for this. But this would turn out so nice. Of course, it would have been done earlier if my printers hadn't failed. And as I said, printers. I have a couple in-house ones, and I've got some ones that are not in-house. And I have two here, mostly prototyping stuff. I made some products with them. But you have two. So one's a bigger, one's a smaller one. So even if one breaks, you got another one, you can still do work ahead. Except when that one breaks too, I've got two printers down and two big projects to get done. I mean, I don't know. Like this was another project I did. This is this is an RC body for a Mitsubishi Pajero. So same material as the other, strong, durable. And for cab, the other piece, this is kind of part of it, and then there's a third piece that goes in the back. So as for an RC car, that's going to be kind of neat to see when it's done too. I'm just feeling around for any rough edges that need to be trimmed out. I'll go over it again once more with the lighter just to make sure. Just a regular knife, nothing fancy here. But make sure no more hairs are generated, because when I just kind of run across it, I need to take out some of the little bits and pieces that might show up. Very small. I mean, at this point I'm being really, really nitpicky. But I want to make sure that people I do work for get a decent product and they're happy with it. So pretty much the same way I'd want the type of attention paid to anything I order or custom order from someone. If you're asking why I don't use sandpaper, well, that makes things much, much more messier, of course. Then I have a lot of fine particles to deal with, and I don't need that. And it's not that important. It doesn't need to be that smooth. When the resin goes over it, it'll make a nice smooth surface to begin with. So this doesn't have to be polished by any means. That the resin's going to sort of fill in the holes, and it's self-leveling. So I'm hoping I can get it done in one coat. I'll say it'll be the first time I actually epoxy coated something. Not that I haven't painted things before. So putting it on and letting it cure. It should be hard in 24 hours, but they said properly cured in 72. So it means I gotta leave this sitting somewhere, both these pieces, for 3 days. Okay. So spending a good amount of time to make sure someone gets a decent product for their stuff. So a little sad that things got delayed. It happens. I mean, the odds of 2 printers going down are rare, but it clearly does happen. And then the one printer needed 2 things fixed on it. Well, I fixed one. It was just some soldering. That was on the last live stream, but the first problem was the print bed, the glass. because this is printed like this, and then it's printed on layers, and it's melted over the glass. When you pull the other piece off, and there's tiny bits of glass attached to it, that's an annoyance. It happens. So I bought a flexible sheet to replace it, so it makes it easier to get parts off. It's a flexible metal sheet with a coating, and it was working fine for a couple of days, and then suddenly the material coating itself from the sheet comes off. So now it's shot. So I'll go back to the company on Amazon and bitch at them. Already did my review on it, how bad it was. Well, pardon me, not on that one. The other one, because the glass happened the same thing to that one too. I mean, I've had these printers for, small one 3 years and a big one 5, I think, 5 or 6. But glass fatigue is a real thing, especially when you're heating it to 60, 70 degrees Celsius, and then cooling it, and then heating it, cooling it, and it's tempered glass that can handle it, but you're only going to do it so many times before you get microfractures, and then the glass just gives. It just happens. But the fact that it happened to both of them at the same time, yeah, that was not fun. Very irritating. A lot of maintenance that week, this week. Let's see, it's okay. It's really, really minor stuff, but I don't want any bumps, obvious problems. I mean, not that where these are going to affect anything. You're just pushing dough through it. The cut happens at the top, not through the middle, but yeah, I don't know why. She went to one company, local company, and they said they couldn't do it, and found me. I said, sure, I could do it. I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to get into having to coat something or deal with it, but they'll deal with it. Their loss, my gain. And if this works out, she's going to want a bunch more. So minor stuff now. This one's just about ready to start getting it coated. Now. All right. The one that the show, the Three Body Show, has really good music. I like the opening and intros. Pardon me, the opening and the same thing. The intros and the outros. Music was really nice. So I think around episode 26, 27, or 28, they changed up. It changes fine, but like you wait that long, and it wasn't all that great. Well, it was less. It wasn't as good. I didn't find it to be as appealing or pleasurable. So I think for the last two, they changed it again, and that was nicer. So someone had this bright idea, but last minute changes? Why? You've got like 2-3 episodes left. Why bother changing it at that point? But someone probably wanted to get their son or daughter or performance onto the show because they have money. That always happens. Okay, so those surfaces are cleaned enough from roughness. I have to drill. Some of these holes didn't turn out right, so there's obviously some sort of guidelines. So when these two go together, it may be just even some screws because I got it There's some guidelines so when they go together. Those holes turned out nice, but these ones not so much. So simple little bit of drilling will take care of that. No Dremel tool. That's what it's for. Yeah, let's go play with some more fire. Let's go this side. The less heat applied to the better. Who ever thought I'd be playing with fire on YouTube? Of course, can't keep the flame in one spot too long because, things start melting or warping and well, that's not good. Despite all that, there's still little tiny bits here or there, and that's irritating. Well, it's hard to be 100% perfect, but I'm sure we tried to get there. This stuff is pretty easy to work with, which is nice. Nylon printing, yeah, that's a pain in the ass. Comes out nice when you get it, but it's hard to work with, so you need a real good setup and a lot of patience too. Amazing, all the little stuff that starts popping up. Well, like any other good artist, you're your own worst critic, so you'll always be going after this trying to make it better. At the same time, this is for a client, so I need to make it look better, make it feel better. Half this stuff is very tactile, so if someone feels something that they designed and paid for, you want to make them enjoy what they're playing with, what they're feeling, so that it's something pleasurable to touch, tactile senses. Because once I coat this, this stuff's not coming off. Unlike the RC car body where he's going to be sanding and painting it, so he can finish that to how he likes. I need to get to a reasonable level of clean and smoothness, so it's not something I'd want to be doing on a regular basis, cleaning up car bodies. It would be really, really expensive for me to just sit there and do that. I mean, it takes a lot of time. You don't got to balance off, your jobs with, is this worth the time? Like how much money? You can get anything done you want. If you got the money to throw at it, hey, by all means throw at it, but there are always, not always, but most of the time there are better ways to do things than to just have one person do it all. Like I could do some model railroad parts for someone. I had to figure out what he wanted. I mean, it was, you could design something, but if someone's already got it designed, you can get the file for, relatively cheap, then there's no point you designing it when it's readily available. So what part of the world are you sitting in there, FXZ? You know, or do you pronounce it fix? That's weird with that part. Oh. Got me on silent, just watching, or haven't seen a. I guess while you're hearing me, so I might know my mic is working. Or maybe he stepped out. Who knows? Well, I'm supposed to keep trying to work on this YouTube thing. I'm just nitpicking now, small little stuff that matters the least overall, but still important enough. At least to me. I want to make sure everyone's happy with what they're getting, right? Okay. A little fun stuff. Yeah, I'm also using the flame as a way to see what I'm doing. Of course, you can't keep it in one spot for too long. So we're just about there. I gotta deal with those holes, but to break out the, use the term Dremel tool, but it's not Dremel, but it's the same thing. It's made by a local company, or branded by a local company. It may be made by Dremel, who knows? Okay. Drilling to match a hole. There you can. Oops. Look at that while I go and grab the tool. You know it's serious when he brings out the power tools. This is the Mastercraft Wizard. And it's basically a Dremel type tool. I've had it for quite a few years actually. I need a much bigger workbench. Definitely a dedicated workbench. And a workshop and some extra tools and people working for me, you know, all the fun stuff. the hood part, as opposed to the chassis part, had to use different support material under here, or a different support structure. The other ones had like a tree-like structure. They're called organic, so it only uses the material to support where it needs to support. Or it needs to support. So it's like not like a hand. So you hold up, you don't have a big solid piece. This one, because that one printer was giving me such a hard time, I had to use a different type of support structure, and it was grid-like. So it was a bunch of different lines, which of course led to a very messy undercoat. So it was going to take way too long if I tried to clean that up perfectly. So bought a set of tools that I can grind off the material. It's so much better. And to be honest, it doesn't need to be perfectly ground. And even the stuff that's left there gives it more rigidity. So there was a benefit doing it that way. But of course, it took way longer to print. Used a lot more material. The other one used a different support, and you can actually see, the straight lines which the printer went back and forth, versus catch up over here, the ground off part. So 6 and 1/2 dozen of another, except the other one was just took way too long to print and to remove and to clean up. So overall, not really worth it. We're gonna this Dremel kit so I can grind stuff off, which is really nice. Again, off Amazon. I don't think $10. The Sworker 10 pieces, 1/8 3mm shank. I'm not, promoting them, or I'm not sponsored by these guys. I just the tool that I bought. Now I gotta find the right hole to match the diameter, so everything's good. As long as I have a drill bit that matches that, or pretty reasonably close, I'll be all right. I found the drill bit that fits. Nice. Perfectly too. Oh. But again, gotta be careful because it's really close in size. Put it back in. Oh, no, there's a little wrench. Probably just trying to get that to be centered is a challenge, so that it's not wavering so much. These are not grand tools. I don't know what it is, like finesse this stuff so that it's sitting just right. That's one of the things about it. I mean, this is okay, and these are not super high precision stuff, but like, I don't know if there's another, like I have a bunch of different brass ends that fits inside. I think they're all just a little loose, so it never fits perfectly well. I think that's the biggest problem. Not a ton you can do about it because the amount of space is pretty limited. Although I have an idea. I might maybe get a bit of tape to take up some of that slack. You know what? Let's see if I can take some of that slack so that it actually looks a little decent. Here, look at the part again. Ha! Solutions don't have to be complicated or expensive, but just regular Scotch tape. Of course, they do have to find the end. I don't know how much I need, but we'll roll it up and just see how much works, how much doesn't work. So just cut that very well like that. This we call being creative on the fly. Using less than perfect tools, of course. Won't even go in. See, just a couple rolls of tape, and it's too thick. So the amount of slack inside the tool is pretty minimal. So do I take a 1 round or 2, right? I'll go with a 1 a bit and see, that's useful enough. It's weird. It goes in. Now it seems to have less slack, but try to get that filled just a little bit more without being too thick again. I'll put that back on. Weird. The thickness of a bit of tape is enough to not go on. The other one seems to be a little too thin, so I don't know. Oops. Really? Don't have quite the right tool to do everything. Let's see. One side and see. No, it's just a. It's way better. Let's see how much wobble that has. Less, but I think it'll probably have to do. Yeah, that's the fun part when I do this right. Because, you know, we're all professionals here. Let's see how well I might be able to get this on camera. Now I gotta wait till the other stream catches up so I can actually see what this is seeing, because the camera's facing away from me. So let's see. Let me turn it around. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Let me do it from this side. I don't want to ruin that surface. Yeah, it's not going to be, definitely not going to be fun. Might have to go with a smaller one, just get enough to get this in there, but drill press would be ideal. Yep, doesn't like it when I start with it. Alright. Let's go up a little higher speed. Well, that looks pretty good. Seem to be doing all right so far. Last one. Well, that's irritating. There we go. Alright, move the tool that way. Make a mess over the place, but yeah, it is what it is. As I clean those holes a little. Yeah, good thing I did from the other side, so this side is just fine. Now, none of the stuff is getting into the pokies anyway, so it won't hurt any. This up. Some of this, I don't know what happened to these. Why the other ones were just holes. These were like little raised parts, and for some reason, didn't really come up clean. Irritating. That's what happens, but I'm not going to redo this whole thing just because of these. These are not critical, they just need to function. As long as they're clean and smooth enough. I'm pretty sure this is just all guides, so likely they'll have guide pins on this one and just go down so that these two match up. Yeah, let's just spin them and match them up. Yeah, one there. Yeah. This is another way. Because I'll have to make sure that these do match, otherwise they will be useless. Looks like it may be off a little. But the two pieces being different shapes are challenging. I will have to clean up the holes. You need a file to get in there to clean out all the stuff, but once it looks smooth and clean and they line up, that's going to be obviously the important part for the whole thing. No real way to redo these. Not that wouldn't introduce, not that a process that you couldn't do, but without introducing more potential problems, weak points. Although I have learned some neat tricks for using super glue and baking soda. Baking soda accelerates the super glue hardening process, and you're actually making like another type of plastic with it, if you will. It's pretty wild YouTube videos of what people have done with it. So definitely a handy little hack to know. Sometimes I wonder why things turn out. So you look at this surface, it'll turn nice. Cool. This one, there's some rough spots for whatever reason. Yeah, it could be just the filament getting moist, because it does absorb water. So you do have to dry them out, so I've got a couple of dehydrators for my filament. I want to make it smooth it out so that it looks reasonably decent. You get the whole tactile feedback when you're getting something made. You want to actually feel the thing that you came up with. Especially for business, this is all important stuff. You know what? I think I might actually do an extra thing that they didn't ask for, but I might do anyways. So, I don't think this is actually going to be bolted down anywhere. So you got a hard plastic bottom, and if it's going to slip pretty easily, I would say. But I can print rubber. So I might make some rubber feet for this. And just glue it on to give more grip when it's sitting down somewhere. Something they wouldn't have considered. It's hard to consider everything when you're making something. Sometimes you just need to make it, test it out, and realize what you missed. And go, oh, that would be useful. Alright, smooth enough. And of course, when you're doing this, realize that they obviously have some sort of guides in here. It would be nice if I had the guides, so that when these are done, that I know that they fit together well. Since I don't have the guides, I'm kind of guessing. Oh, those actually do line up pretty nicely. This lines up nicely. I think I'll go and get those little mini files. Coffee break. So these are actually overpriced miniature files, but they're designed for gaming figures. So when you're, because everything's made out of plastic now, so you file it up, and I get that it's useful. They're really fine files. sand these, smooth out the surfaces. Then when I'll take the lighter and go back and apply some heat so that it gets up in there and it will melt the fine particles. So nothing will be left floating around in here. It'll turn out nicely. More people. Hello, peoples. Hey, by all means, let me know where you're all from. I'm always kind of curious, you know, who hangs out, who checks things out. Just where you kind of wander from. I mean, how you found the channel? Is it just a general, hey, these are YouTube live streams, randomly suggested, searching? I was kind of curious. I've been around the world quite a lot myself. Anybody else here actually have 3D printers too? That would be, that's kind of the point. I mean, that's mostly like maker stuff. Chats. This files really nicely. Not much of an interactive crowd, I see. Yeah, maybe this live stream stuff goes well enough. I'll have a nice little table set up like all the other professionals do. Yeah, I don't like how some of this stuff comes out just because. Stick around long. Oh, nope. That one didn't even stick around for me to comment. So third person show up. Oh hey, just say stick around. Get to watch a bit of fire being played with on 3D prints. Trim this stuff off so that it's reasonably smooth, while not, you know, slicing my thumb open either. This is the fun stuff, trying to get at this tiny little crap. Trying to make things smooth and nice. I'll have to take a look at the original file design. Because hopefully the whole part where it has a support go through, it doesn't need to be tall. It's simply just an added useful design. Which means I have to look at it on my third screen I've got going on here. Because who doesn't need enough screens, right? Okay. Eventually that program might open up. Now I just open up Prusa Slicer and it's saying it's got a problem with window position because I got an external monitor plugged into a laptop. And it's like, apparently it says it crashed. Leave restore window, disable. I'll do that on there on itself. Alright, so let's go and get this file. And take a look. What the? Oh, wrong client. Apparently. What? There it is. Okay, stand. Where are you? Stand. Stand. Form. Preston 3. Yeah, they're just. Alright, as long as there's something there, they're just there for strength. So these aren't too critical, which is nice. As long as they're there and flat, so when the screws get tightened up, they stay flat. So I just need to smooth off those edges. No, surface. Then make them look reasonably clean. They look a little chaotic. Yeah, my glasses are for nearsightedness, but not this nearsighted. So maybe over order from me, you can see the level of work I put into this stuff. I want crap going out of here. I try my best to make things good for people, that they get good value for whatever I'm doing for them. And again, I'm just nitpicking little things here or there. Because once it's coated, it ain't going back, right? Actually, I'm not sure how well the sound is. So, just for the heck of it, I'm going to put my headset on. It tends to be a little bit of a pickup on it. Because I know most of the time with the iPhone, the mic's good. If I'm doing this, the iPhone will go straight. But if I move away from it, I think the microphone doesn't pick up anywhere near as well. But with the headset, they do really well. But it does say battery medium when I turn it on. All right, let's try a little bit of heat, clean those up. I think those are not bad. But you can still kind of see, I don't know how well this is going to pick up. In this one, there was a little bit of crap right there. Yeah, could push those out of the way. But sure, you don't want this falling in food, right? Because this has to be really, really good and clean. And that's why I added the heat so that it would melt any loose bits. These lawsuits would just kind of suck. A little bit more heat, but this one's not adjustable. Just enough heat to melt the plastic bits. But not enough to ruin this, because that would just be that would not be fun. Just small little bits here or there. FXZ, are you still there? Seem to be the only one there, but or maybe your connection dropped. I don't know. Or I'm just background noise. Just that could be background noise. That happens. Is that good? It's all ready to be coated. Now the coating process is going to be really, really hacky because I don't have a proper shop. So and this is going to sit somewhere untouched for a minimum 24 hours, and then it'll be hard. But they said it's fully cured in 72, so then I have to mix up the resin and then put it on. That's low volatility, VOGs, volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Okay, that's clean. That's clean. And less than needed to be done here. Oh, resin kit, Amazon special, of course, made in China. Yeah. You get 4 cups, kinda. Well, that one's busted. Oh, wait. That one's busted. So, 2 cups. Maybe some dyes with it so you can dye it different colors, which is, I guess, useful if you're into doing a lot of coloring of your resin, but that's not being dyed and want it clear anyway, so. Oh, that's your resin. Epoxy resin, super gloss, crystal clear, bubble free, high hardness, yellow resistance, self leveling. And then you've got your the hardener part of it. So mix them up. Same wording on that. 1-to-1 ratio. So that makes it easier. 100 or 10% off offer. So I'm not going to use anywhere near all of this stuff. Just coating those 2 pieces. What is this? Looks like a little cloth. Oh, let's see what else we got here. So 10% off or contact us. bscpam.com. Welcome to the BSCPAM family. With so many brands to choose, we're happy you chose us. You can even get a 10% code off. Epoxy resin user manual. Nice. Onto the folded piece of cardboard. 1:1 by volume. Recommended temperatures and humidity. Max pour depth 2 inches per layer. So I guess if you're pouring a thicker one. Let's see. Demold time 46 hours if you're using silicone molds. Cure time 8 to 12 hours. It's handy if it does cure quicker. Shelf life 3 years and unopened. Quick guide, mix A and B, 1:1 ratio. Stir mixture slowly and thoroughly until no swirls are visible. Pour into mold or over object with your coating. Allow 4 to 60 mold. Let's see. Before pouring, let mixture stand for 5 minutes to reduce bubbles. Use a heat torch or a heat gun to remove remaining bubbles if needed. Which I will likely need to get out my heat gun for that. Although this is going to be a thin coating on here. Let's see. Epoxy resin is a versatile and durable material. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Mix the resin thoroughly. Scrape the sides and bottoms. Mixing cup. Mixing should take at least 5 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, everything you put on must be completely dry, low temperature, and proper storage. See how to achieve bubble free. Warm the resin before mixing to reduce bubble formation. Maybe I'll just put in some hot water and that'll be a good, like a parboiling or double boiling type deal, kind of. Let's see. Before pouring, place the mixed resin and hardener into hot water around. I just said hot water, didn't I? After pouring, use a heat gun or torch to eliminate any remaining bubbles. But that's after you pour it into the mold, not into the mix. See, if using silicone. Safety tips: do not swallow. Avoid direct contact with skin and eyes. So, use my gloves. Let's see. Keep away from children. Wow, they don't know me very well. Keep out of reach of children. Too late. See, not for tumblers craft. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what tumblers with rock tumbling, but let's see. Please ensure you always work in a well-ventilated area. It is important to wear appropriate safety equipment, such as safety goggles, disposable gloves, I mentioned that, and a mask or a respirator. It is extremely difficult to remove from clothing, carpets, and other porous materials. Yeah, I'll be making sure it's going to be sitting. It's going to be sitting on a clothing rack, and I'll be putting some tinfoil underneath. So if it falls down on the ground, it's on tinfoil. Let's see. Cleaning can be done with rubbing alcohol, mineral spirits, or acetone, or other mild solvents. Keep the bottle sealed but not in use. Yeah. Like the contents gives you part numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems not to be terribly complicated stuff. Now, the only thing I don't know is how much to mix. It's not much. We're only coating future things. So, I don't know, 20 milliliters, no, 40. I will double it to 40 milliliters. So, which would be around, maybe about a third of a cup. Or a third of one of these cups, not a cup measurement. That's probably going to be enough to coat. Maybe, maybe not. All means, give me your thoughts on that one. Because I think 60 would be too much. 40 by volume, because I'm just putting a relatively, nice coat on it. Oh yes, one of the other things I wanted to do is PEGG. Now I did 100% solid infill, so this thing is, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. but I would not want this to go through a dishwasher because I don't know what kind of temperatures to get up inside them, but probably not the greatest types of temperatures. Well, temperature is fine for what they do, but not for materials and be heat soaked and warping it or something. So I was planning on making a little label and say hand wash only. And I have a little label maker. Probably won't be able to see any chats when I do this, so if you're chatting, I won't be able to see it right away. And it's a handy little label maker. There you go. Connect. Been using for my other products like little thermal printer. So I'll make a little sticker, put the sticker on it, and I'll put it on the bottom where it's not going to be visible anywhere. It just says hand wash only. Maybe put two of them on here so that it's very obvious it's hand wash only. So that they know not to put it in some industrial dishwasher. Let's see, I'll make a new label. Hand wash only. Oh, I have to do this in 2 lines. Okay. Okay. And duplicate that, move down. Yeah, let's see if I can get this. So you can kind of watch this. And interesting. Hand wash only. Yeah. There. Yes. Multiple objects. There. Align. Oops. Multiple objects. Let me group these. I don't know if I can group them. Doesn't know if I group them, but okay. Then of course I'll have to go on my marketing. Let's see, text, and of course I will make it smaller. No, that's smart. Ungroup, move you. The website there. Yep. Multiple taps. Center you. Oh, I could have done that too. Center that. Do I put the logo on here or not? Because I'd have to create the logo, and I don't really want to go through and, well, not create the logo, but move all the stuff in here. HamiltonRP.com. Okay, yeah, that works. Maybe just down a little. Make sure it's still centered. This doesn't have to be terribly fancy. I'm not gonna make it fancy. I can probably add a border to make it extra fancy. How about a nice little border? There we go. Nice little fancy border. Okay. Called hand wash. Hand washing. Auto type. Yes, thank you. Knock the phone over. And printer. Oh wait, we'll go to the print preview. We'll just print one for now. There we go. There we're done. Looks good enough. Let's print a second one. There. It's a handy little thing, and the papers are readily available. The labels. It's a thermal printer, so I don't know how this would handle under hot water. Should not be a problem. This should not just be able to handle hot water. Like I said, when you're talking industrial dishwashers, this is some sort of cooking business is going on too. That's a different story. Oh, just. Give people instructions or else they won't do it right no matter what. So, and then put the coating on there, that'll protect that from ever coming off. This just in there. So, hand wash only. And of course, it's the other way. Hand wash only. Because if this warps in hand washing, they didn't hand wash it. That means no warranty. You abuse something, do it right. And by all means, they could try it in their industrial washer and if it survives, cool. It probably will, but I'm not interested in taking that test. Test? Risk. That's the word. So now all I gotta do is coat it, and that'll be that. Oh, everyone's gone. And it's just me. Lots of stuff going on. Oh, battery low. Kill the wireless headset, Bluetooth headset, because it says battery low. Oh, charge it up for a while and hopefully try to remember to speak at the phone and not away from it. Go. Hello, just joining people. Oh, person up, gone. Yeah. You look at part. And some test fitting to see about where this is going to sit while it's curing. Hey, good idea, but I can't have it sit. I need some string of some sort. Or a fishing line. Something. Ah, got something that'll work. Solid copper core wire. I don't use it for anything else, though. It also work for hanging the parts. Oh, this will be perfect. Alright. Need to know how much. Oh, the test bed. I don't need much. Of course, would hope if I brought the wire cutters with me. Yeah. I'll watch that sit there for a bit. Turn off the AC for now. That's about where it's going to be sitting. Block the camera. Yeah, I need that much wire. Test the other one too. Here. Put it a little lower. Hey, I dropped my phone. Totally professional. And knocking everything else over too at the same time. So, let's go. Oh, yes. There's one. Put you there, you won't fall. There. Alright. So we got our hanging method. Oh, hanging method. Alright, then we'll get some aluminum foil over these. Absolute professional foil wrapping session. Ha. Close. something. Brush. No brush. Well, small brush. But that's fun. Maybe a little more creative with stuff. Alright. I have part of a plan. So that's to heat it up, but you'd never want to put the bottles directly on that because that's just metal on metal and heating. That would melt the bottom of these guys, which we don't want that. But I have a trick. I'm going to need volume before after this. Now, I'm going to see. How about this for? Let me just keep dropping my phone, shall we? Oh, the aluminum foil. It keeps it directly off the heat. Little gaps in there. So any direct heat directed away from the bottom, so it's not a direct contact. Just need to warm up the water. Doesn't necessarily need to boil, just need to warm it up. So I just got it on medium, and let's see how that goes. I think I'm almost out of aluminum foil. Let's see how that goes. So we'll wait till that warms up before I mix up the resin. Obviously, can't mix up beforehand. Got a place to hang it. I don't have a great brush to brush it on. I'll pour most of it on, well, in sections so I'm not wasting any. Oh, that little plastic. Give me the glove. I think I'll use regular gloves as opposed to the single one that will probably just be annoying the crap out of me. I'm not getting that back in the same package again. But once I mix the resin up, again I'm thinking maybe that 40 milliliters would be enough to cover those two pieces. Got enough popsicle sticks. Although that's the only brush I can find. I swear I had others. Of course, can't find them now. Ah well, I'll just have to live. I'm not going on thick, so it doesn't really matter all that much anyways. The resin just has to coat it nicely to prevent that create a nice little barrier so food doesn't, well, for bacteria can't grow in the little grooves of the 3D printed parts. Yeah, this turned out nice too. Finger caught in there. So I have to make sure that I'll get all the parts I need for that. I think I got a couple of small little parts to print for it. Might have to go back to here so I can see chat if there's any chats going on. Not much for chatting, I see. Not many people, nobody on right now, so yay! I wonder if that one watcher was just me. All this time. Funny. Hey, somebody else showed up. Pretty quiet afternoon. You looking for anything in particular? Or how did you end up finding this stream? Random Google, random YouTube suggestion? Oh, quiet type. I got it. Grab their attention or they don't hang around. No. Not doing anything too fancy right now anyway, so it's fine. let it heat up nice soon. Okay, I think I'll do this, the bigger, harder one to do first. I'll remove the small one, get it out of the way. It doesn't really matter. Big one has bigger surface, so let's see how much material I use up there, I suppose. And that gets coated. And it's warming up the resin so that it produces less bubbles. That's the suggestion made, so that when you're putting it on, not that I'm filling anything up, so it's going on as a coat. So not that it really needs to be too warm, it's just going over. Shouldn't make any bubbles at all, really. Cup, mix. Oh, mixed up. It says mix for 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure 40 milliliters will be more than enough to coat those two pieces. And you just kind of drizzle it around. All right, so do the bottom first. It'll be a little messy. So we're 40 milliliters. Just 20 and 20. probably have to find uses for this because I'm hoping that maybe she gets more work done as she works it. Wow, this stuff is really... Go. So 20 and 20, eh? I'm gonna see how close I can get this to 20. Ooh, that's pretty close. Put it down on a flat surface. Just a tiniest bit more. Keep that whole... Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. That's the epoxy. Part A. AB is 1 to 1. So, hot water. Dry. And part B, the hardener. All right, so this needs to be another 20. Just a little bit. There we go. And up, A and B. Now for the mixing. It says 5 minutes. Whatever warmer means it could be reduced. Because it'll mix better. I don't know. Normally does other stuff. It's not bubbling up, which is nice. Scrape the sides. Shape the bottoms. Sides are scraped again. It's a pretty good mix, but I'll keep mixing it. There's 5 minutes, something's only been about 3. Really wish I had a bigger brush, but we got what we got. We're at 4 minutes, so I'm sure this is fine. Gloves on now, so I'm actually going to be pouring it out of the container. I think I will do the bottom side first, and then flip it over and do the top side. surface so it doesn't run as much. I'm not sure how well this is going to pick up ultimately. It says self-leveling, so we'll find out about that. See if I need any more coats. You know what? Doing this like a paint job, it's actually not too bad. This is a big flat surface. This would be, well, of course, easier, but it's not. It doesn't have a lot of crevices to get into. Really is like painting at this point. Just get into those crevices and fill up so things are nice and safe and secure and edible. Surfaces easily washable. You don't get sick and everyone's happy and they get the cool pierogies, which I'm definitely going to be getting some from this lady. Looking forward to getting some really cool pierogies. No matter how many times you go over this, you still find little bits of hairs. The nature of the beast. Do my best to try and keep it clean enough. The more fun part of doing this work. The other one's going to be a little more difficult because I don't have a stand to put it on, like this comes with one, but I have to hold it. Actually, having this low brush is not too bad. As long as the stuff doesn't harden by the time I'm done brushing it all on, I'm doing good. I know you don't have a ton of time with this, so. As fast as I can. Make sure I'm not missing any spots, because that's the part that would kind of suck if you just missed a whole section. I might have to go over that another part. It's well, I'll say a hydroscopic from the label. Not really a hydroscopic, it's not really water, afraid, but it's not really adhering to the top of the label, which I thought, which I think is interesting. Ultimately, a bit of a problem if I want to coat the label, right? Of course, doing this, I can't tell if anyone's there, so if I'm quiet, it's because I can't see the screen. For obvious reasons. Should have done the bottom part last, like the flat part. Oh well. Learn as you go along, huh? I get everything and not get my beard in there. Put a light cover on it. Maybe that'll get a little sticky. So the other stuff will cover. I mean, I talk to myself, planning stuff out, thinking maybe if I got a very light wash of the resin over the label, the other label, because this has got two of the same label, that it won't be so hydrophobic. That's the word I want, hydrophobic. Not really hydro because it's water, but you get the idea. That it doesn't stick to the label very well, which is surprising in of itself. I'm not doing a great job on it, but maybe just helping. It might have even been a smart thing to test this out on something else. Like, why would I do that? 'Cause that's a smart thing to do. Jeez. Oh. This is going out nicely. I think might have enough just for both of them. Not like I'm low on supply or anything like that. Almost done on this side. And I should have left one of those off for doing later. Oh well. Things you learn a little after you get them wet with essentially hardening glue. Because I still have to turn this over and the whole thing is wet. Except for the outside. I did do the outside of those stands. And make sure that these ridges all got coated. That's coated. That's coated. No, it wasn't. That was, but make sure that it is. Okay, that's done. That's done. This part doesn't have to be perfectly seen because it's not going to be used at all. Yes. As long as it's got a good coating over it. A thin coating would be enough to protect it. Hole in there. Yeah, this hand wash part is not going to coat very well. I'm gonna have to do something else with that. For now, it is what it is. I think what I will try to do is put it on the side like that. You know what, I can't put it down. Might have to drill those holes to make sure they're mounted, or whatever supports or guides go in there. This really should stay flat as opposed to the hanging idea that I got. I might use up all 40 on this one, which is perfectly fine. I'll make up another one. I won't need 40 for the other one. This has more surface area than the top part that goes over this. This is the part that's going to be really important, the inside there. Corners for sure. I imagine that's where most of the crap's going to stick when they're pressing through. Can't miss these because this is the really important parts. But this is kind of like painting with a little sense of urgency because it is drying and curing at the same time. Still a chemical process going on here. Oh. I think I'll have just enough to do what I need here. And be sure to do a quick check, well, a thorough check. Make sure it's all coated and it has at least one coat. Oh, might have gotten some on this shirt, which does suck a little. But, so that's just life in donuts. Knock over the phone too. I think I will have to not hang this. Have to set it flat. Maybe we'll turn the light on. Help me see a little bit more, actually. This is fun, but get it all done. I should be happy. If I'm lucky, this will be nice and done by Thursday, so we get done a day earlier. Because it says only 12 hours secured. I guess every epoxy takes different times. I see 24 hours for the first, this thing 12, and then a lot more 72. But we'll see how it goes. Going on nicely. And it's not hardening right away, which is good. Gives me time to get it on. All things considered, small brush is probably the best option to get into those areas that a bigger brush just simply would not be able to do. Certainly not as efficiently anyways. It's starting to thicken up a little. Well, luckily, the only parts I have left are some of the outside stuff. And some touch-ups, I'm sure. Not too shabby. Okay, now. Next fun part. The sides have to be done. Oh, coat it in nicely. We're going to use it to watch 2 more vids on epoxy coating, but this is not complicated stuff. I always learn more little tips or tricks from everybody. Yeah, those are not going to be covered so well, but I'll have to redo those, I'm sure. How are we doing otherwise? Everything looks nicely coated. I think maybe I'll just take this whole parchment paper over there and let it sit like that. Which makes things a little more complicated, but not a ton more. Hoping that doesn't stick to the parchment paper, but if it is, it's only in the bottom, not the end of the world. I need more parchment paper for piece number 2. So that's tore off neat. A little more challenging. I want to bet I can reuse this. We'll just have to put that there. I won't need as much. So we're gonna pull this up. This is sitting at somewhere around 10. If I go up to just 5 more. And put that up another 5 more. That should do it. Now mix this stuff up. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Now, that took what? Over 20 minutes? 4:11, 4:12, something like that. Oh, half an hour. That seems weird. Okay. When you're doing this stuff, time is the least thought in your mind most of the time. Oh, more bubbles in it, but this is a lot cooler than the first time I mixed them. As I'm making a little bit of a pre-mix stuff, I suspect this won't take as long. They said 5 minutes, but if I do, I don't know, 3, it's probably just fine for mixing. There's the YouTube learn more pop up in the chat, which just kind of go away after a while. I don't need it. But maybe if I click on learn more, it will go away. But at this point, don't care. That's probably going to be enough mixing. Fun begins. Number 2. This is the more important side. I think somehow I will have to hang this, because obviously can't lay this flat. I think this one hanging won't be a big deal. Coating it right will be a big deal. This would be one of the coolest projects to date I would have done for someone. And heck, getting my own pierogies from the pierogi maker I made for somebody else would be pretty cool. Waste a lot of it. Hard to get those edges. Maybe I'll worry about the edges when it's up. The inside edges I'm referring to. Suppose there's something to be said about being under a bit of mild pressure, because this stuff is curing as I'm putting it on, so gotta get it on there before it all dries out on you. Hey, if anybody knows some good epoxy jokes, by all means. Also not overly chemical, because I actually don't know the chemical composition of epoxy. Like a whole subgenre of epoxy jokes. I'm sure chemists in the field have a bunch. Take away the carbon atom, say to the oxygen atom. Have you got a twin? Yeah, that's big. Carbon dioxide joke, everyone. Oh, carbon dioxide. Yeah, I got the joke right, I think. Laugh now. Oh, they're gone. Killed the audience. This is a part of 3D printing most people don't get to see. They just see the machines and the fancy stuff. Post-processing is just as equally as important. Can kind of take up more time than the printing itself. I mean, it was 24 hours to print this piece. Now, it's got to cure. It says minimum 12. I've seen ranges from 24 to first hardened to 72. So, we'll see what it's like tomorrow afternoon. I mean, it should be. I suspect it'd be reasonably hardened up. So if it's saying 12 hours, maybe the first part would be okay, I imagine. But giving it a bit longer would probably be a smart thing. Now, check for areas I missed or aren't properly covered. Just the raised areas for now. Oh, area missed. There we go. It's done. Oh, there's another one. Rotate it around. Make sure all areas are getting coated and flowing into their respective holes. You know, what would you do this? Oh, look at that. There's a spot I missed. Okay, now the messy, annoying part, because I gotta lift this up. Now not spill over that resin cup. Now I have to do this part. Oh, just not make too much of a mess. And the edge, of course, too. I think it's starting to thicken up. Then to get this done quick. And the edges are the important parts, the really important parts. And try to do this in some sort of a methodical manner so you're not missing any of these, because it would suck to miss just one. Maybe I'll just do all these first, actually. This might be better done off in 2 stages. Yeah, things you learn. It just means it takes it longer. Client's under a little bit of a pressure to get things done. And I get it. Sometimes this is just how long it takes to do things. If this is reasonably hardened by Tuesday, that'd be wild. Paper just don't step around too much because I don't want anything spilling because that's messy and makes things awkward. But if we're lucky enough, this will be done Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest. Start to cure a little bit more, so I have to put this on thicker to make it spread. Please, paper, don't slide around on me. So let's be darned, tape down your paper so it doesn't slide when you're doing something like this. Oh, don't slide on me. Oh my god, this is going on so hard and thick. Friction is taking over everything here. So already curing, being a bit of a pain to go on. I'm gonna hold this so that it doesn't slide around, but that's challenging. Up here, so a lot more control. Now the only thing left to do is the edge. And it's hard to do this and be neat now at this point. Now one would hope this cures relatively smoothly. And then see what cleanup I need to do come tomorrow. Yeah, this is definitely going to be hung. Probably some cleanup, I'm sure, of this. Geez, just trying to get that even on the edge is challenging. Okay. It's all coated. Let's make sure it's spread and it's not gapping anywhere. So there's a coating everywhere and let it smooth out itself. That's the more important side. Actually, no, for me, this is the less important side. This is the more visual side. So I always want to get that looking decent. Then go back to this side. Everything looks reasonably coated. Now, the fun part really begins. When you drop the wire you just needed, and you're holding it, it's awkwardly falling into a spot that you just can't easily reach. Because that's always fun. Oh, yeah. Come on. Damn it. There we go. Let's hope that this doesn't stick too much to it, eh? Shouldn't be too big of a deal. I'll just cut off over here onto that. All right, now let's see if I can hang this. Alrighty then. Got the flash. Step on too much crap. Let me put the flash back up. So that's where they're going to be for the night. That guy's sitting, this guy's hanging. And, well, we'll see how 12 hours goes. I have a dehumidifier right beside it. I'll run that for definitely a bit. We pull air in and out. I have air filters running. This will dry out the air, which will help dry that a little bit more. I think it's going to be pretty good. And of course, fun part, cleaning up. Shortcuts. On the table. That's exactly where I wanted you to fall. Ah, not too much on there. Alright. That takes me up to the bed. Everything considered. AB resin, BSC PAM. Alright, hey, if you just tuned in, you just missed all the resin painting of the 3D part I just did. So they're hanging now. No, we'll check back in again tomorrow to see how these are. But that's the resin I use. This is supposedly food safe resin, low odor. I didn't smell hardly anything off of this, so. And they're gone. Well, 3 hours. That's good enough for now. If you feel like chatting, I'm just about to hang out for the day. I'm done live streaming. But hey, if you want to chat, by all means, chat. I did a bunch of resin. I do some 3D printing, so. And gone. Alright. That's it. There you all.